Good evening, everyone. We do begin tonight with breaking news following a historic mayoral removal hearing, the first of its kind in Corpus Christi city history.
That hearing actually wrapping up just moments ago after the city council members overseeing it spent nearly 3 hours in executive session. Now, it ultimately resulted in a 30-day suspension and a reprimand from 2 of the 3 charges that Mayor Paulette Guajardo was facing.
We do have the mayor joining us live here at 3 News. Mayor, thank you so much for making the time. We know that this ultimately resulted in that 30-day suspension and the reprimand. No removal from this. How are you feeling? What was your reaction to this decision?
Well, first of all, just a great sense of gratefulness to the residents of the city of Corpus Christi. I want to thank them for the messages, the calls, the encouragement, just so much support that has come through in such a difficult time. And so for that, I'm first and foremost just very grateful. But you know, serving as mayor it's about protecting the city and fighting for its future and honoring the trust of the people who elected me. And so I remain very hopeful that we are going to move forward now and with dignity, restore confidence in our city, and bring our community back together around what matters the most. And that's the people of Corpus Christi and the future that we all share.
And Mayor, let's talk about this, because before any of that can happen, you do have to serve this 30-day suspension. Do you have an indication? Does that begin immediately, or what's the timeline here?
You know, I don't have that information yet. I imagine we'll know that tomorrow.
And does this alter, I mean, this does not alter your plans at all for running again for what will be a final term in office?
It does not alter those plans. I do plan on running again for office.
Mayor, obviously over the course of all of this, we saw City Hall kind of transform into a courthouse, and you facing your fellow city council members in a way that we have not seen in the city's history. Any message you have for your fellow council members tonight?
You know, it was a difficult time, and it's a circumstance, like you said, that we've never seen. It's unprecedented. But, you know, my focus, again, is to bring us together and for this council to hopefully unite and work towards what's important and all the issues that we have right now that we must address as a team.
And Mayor, you're talking about the issues. What is the top issue that you're going to address given the remainder of your term and what you hope to be another term?
A long-term water security source.
And that does seem to be the issue that Corpus Christi voters are also paying attention to now. Do you have a message for the voters, really quickly before we wrap up here, for those who will be now weighing all of this as they go to the poll in November?
Well, you know, it's important that every election people know who they're voting for. And every election, or I'm sorry, every candidate, people get to know and you understand who it is you're voting for and what they stand for, because it matters. The 9 people sitting on the council represent every person in this city. So each person must do their due diligence in knowing exactly who you're voting for, what they stand for, because that is our right and we can't take that for granted.
Mayor Paulette Guajardo joining us live this evening following this historic hearing there at City Hall. Mayor, we really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. I know it's been a long day.
Thank you.
And we will have more from the mayor's interview coming up. Well, first off, online, KIIITV.com, but of course, tomorrow morning, 3 News First Edition for Saturday. And as you've been watching at home, this has been a big story that we have had team coverage on. We do have, she has been all day, and from the very beginning, from when this first started, Natalia Osuna, also there at City Hall. Yeah,
Natalia, of course, as you mentioned, has been with this all day. It has been a long day. There has been a lot that has happened there at City Hall, and she has been there to cover all of that and has just kind of been keeping us informed. And again, we do have her there live at City Hall. And Natalia, if you can, kind of recap for us how we got to this point.
Right, Mike, Leslie, well, I mean, as you heard, we just had Mayor Paulette Guajardo joining us as we ended hours of day 4 and ultimately the final day that decided what happened next, right? So again, a historic day at Corpus Christi City Hall here, as you mentioned. City Council ultimately decided to vote on 3 different charges today on fraud, perjury, and malfeasance. Now, Council ultimately decided not to remove the mayor, as we just discussed, and instead suspend her for 30 days, which council members tell me it's the maximum period of time that they can suspend a mayor or council member. So on the 4th day of the hearing today, I mean, a lot happened, you know, as it was heading towards wrapping up. The mayor's lawyer, John Flood, called Councilmember Sylvia Campos and Gil Hernandez to the witness stand. But Doug Allison, who was representing the petitioners, he actually objected, and that was sustained by council members. So after that, they did not take the stand. But a big question that was brought up was whether or not council members can be judges and witnesses at the same time. This is a question that we have been grappling with, that council members have been grappling with, and folks in the community as well, as this process has gone on from the beginning until the end now. And I spoke with Councilmember Hernandez and Councilwoman Campos to ask them what their thoughts were just after that decision came down.
I tried to keep an open mind all until I saw it and was able to hear it, and there was no doubt in my mind that she was guilty in all these charges, and there was no other way to see it for me.
Some council members felt that there was enough for removal, others didn't. Ultimately, I think it is what was ultimately decided: a 30-day suspension and a reprimand. 30-day suspension on charge number 1 and a reprimand on charge number 2, and no action on charge number 3.
Evidence? The answer to every single one of the questions is no. Thank you.
And said to Michael Hunter and everybody, knowing it to be untrue, she said it.
All right, Natalia
Right, so
Osuna
again,
there live at City Hall for us. Natalia, as you have covered this all day, wrap us up here in just a couple of sentences.
Right. Mike, Leslie, well, I mean, we have, the mayor now faces 30-day suspension, which, as she mentioned, we don't know, we don't have really clear what comes next, but we will have more on that soon, and a reprimand as well. So those are the 2 things on the table, but ultimately, no removal. So we'll continue to have team coverage tonight. For now, reporting live, I'm Natalia Osuna, 3 News.
All right, Natalia, thank you so much once again for that live report on what was yet another day, long day at City Hall.
Yeah, today actually day 4 of the trial. And of course, each of these that we have been at, that we have covered as they have gotten to day 4, each one has lasted for hours as Corpus Christi City Council chambers turned into a courtroom, with the mayor, as we talked to her about just a moment ago, facing her fellow council members as they deliberated and would eventually have to vote on those charges against her.
Yeah, it would have had to take 5 votes to remove the mayor. On neither of the 3 charges, as we saw, did they ever reach the full 5 when it came to that removal vote. Now,
we did mention that we have team coverage. Ryan Hopper has been out there as well. He joins us now as a part of that from City Hall. And Ryan, you got some reaction immediately following the conclusion of this hearing tonight.
Mike, Leslie, I certainly did, and there's plenty of reaction because after 4 days of a heated trial, we finally have a verdict. Mayor Paulette Guajardo will be suspended for 30 days, but not removed. All 3 removal counts failing by at least 2 votes. There was 3 separate questions here, so I'm essentially going to call them counts. That's what the jury, which was the rest of City Council, was asked to deliberate on. That is what ended up happening. They all failed by at least 2 votes. The vote that ultimately suspended her was passed on the question of fraud. The first question, that passed 5-1. Councilman Mark Scott, the only one on council who supported the mayor through every vote today, believing that the petitioners did not meet the burden of proof to remove the mayor for the first time in Corpus Christi history.
So personally, I didn't think the petitioners met the standard necessary to remove or reprimand or suspend. So I voted my conscience, respect the other council members' position. I think the good news in all this is we didn't remove the mayor. I think it's sad that we suspended her. I also don't think it's over yet. I think that there's still litigation to follow, because I've always been concerned about this juror witness issue, and I think that's yet to be resolved.
14 calls before the ordinance.
And as Councilman Scott alluded to there could be a future legal action. Dr. Bill Chris telling me earlier that on state constitutional grounds, there could be further legal action from Paulette Guajardo and her legal team. But ultimately, in the more immediate future, as everyone at home knows, we have elections here in Corpus Christi and nationwide in early November, and that will be ultimately where the public, the court of public opinion, will decide the future of Mayor Paulette Guajardo. Mike, Leslie, it's been a long day at City Council. Back to you.
All right, Ryan, thank you so much. As Ryan was just alluding to there, the story, in a way, continues.
It does. And in mentioning the part about November, if we haven't been clear about that, by not being removed, by simply being suspended, the mayor does get the chance to run again, as she has been intending to do. And if she can win election, then she gets her final term in office and will term out after that. Yeah. So a lot of things decided with this decision here tonight.
Yeah, and as she made it very clear at top of the newscast with that live interview, she still very much fully intends to run, and we still have 10 days left until the filing deadline. So
that's right.
Shaping up, needless to say, to be a very interesting election season at the local level. So we will, of course, continue to keep you updated. We do have other evening news to get to in this newscast, but obviously this was the biggest item. We also have your forecast coming up with Madison Harton. We're going to take a quick break. We're back after this.